Andy Katz here for NCAA.com and March Madness with a reaction to a wild night in college basketball. Let's take a look at 9 games and what we learned. Let's start with Penn State at Rutgers. Rutgers now 3-1 in the Big Ten. First of all, the fact that this was a big game is major news in early January. Scarlet Knights beat Penn State without Geo Baker. He hasn't played in a couple of games. They've got home wins over Wisconsin, Seton Hall, and now Penn State. Rutgers has a legitimate shot to be a player for a March Madness bid. Penn State, they're going to be fine, and they're going to make the NCAA Tournament. Staying in the Big Ten, Maryland established itself over the weekend with that blowout win over Indiana, and then again with a convincing victory over Ohio State, that they're going to be right there to challenge Michigan State for the Big Ten regular season title. Ohio State, not looking like it right now. 1-3 in the Big Ten. Now, they've lost 3 in a row. Hard games. West Virginia and Cleveland. Wisconsin at home. Bit of a shocker there. And now at Maryland. So the Buckeyes are going to have to regroup here pretty fast. Virginia, really struggling on threes this season. It's just not the same offensive team that we've seen from Tony Bennett over the last couple of seasons. One thing we learned on Tuesday night, they're highly unlikely going to contend for the ACC regular season title for the first time in 3 seasons. They won it or won a share of it in 2018 and 2019, but they lose to Boston College on Tuesday night. Baylor. Right now, you can say unequivocally that Baylor will be right there with Kansas to challenge for the Big 12 regular season title. Not ruling out West Virginia or Texas Tech, but Baylor went into Lubbock on Tuesday night and beat the Red Raiders and looked pretty good doing it. They're at Kansas next. For Baylor to, at the very minimum, get a split on this road trip, that's a monster week already for Scott Drew's crew. In the Big East, one of the best games of the night, or one of the better games we've seen over the last couple of weeks. Providence won at Marquette, Fiserv Forum, one of the toughest road venues in the country. The Friars, who were downright awful in late November and early December, they lost 5 of 7. They're now 3-0 in the Big East. They've won 4 in a row dating back to their home win over Texas. In their 3-0 run in the top of the Big East, they've won 2 straight road games, at DePaul and now at Marquette. Who do they play Friday night? They're hosting Butler. Believe it or not, Providence and Butler, both undefeated, Seton Hall as well at this juncture. But Providence-Butler at the Dunk Friday night now is a major game here in early January. Kentucky, they're just getting better and better, and that's bad news for the rest of the SEC and the country. They go into Georgia and win. Villanova, last week, lost at Marquette. Tuesday night, they win at Creighton. Jay Wright's teams rarely go on a losing skid. This was a huge confidence boost for the Wildcats to stay right there near the top of the Big East with a road win at Creighton, one of the tougher venues, not just in the Big East, but also in the country. Houston, which, like Wichita State, now look like the favorites in the American Athletic Conference with Memphis a hair below. The Cougars go in and win at Temple. Iowa, which does not have Jordan Bohannon for the rest of the season, we knew they were going to be limited at times. They suffer a very tough loss at Nebraska, a loss that potentially could hurt them down the road, but the Hawkeyes, which lost in the Palestra to Penn State over the weekend, got to get back, get a couple of W's. And Florida, a team that we have not given up on yet, they were one of our Final 4 picks. Well, the Gators starting to play much better basketball, and they won on the road in the SEC. Never easy at all. I don't care what the venue is. And the Gators win at South Carolina. Very intriguing night in college basketball. A lot of potential ramifications in conference races. I know it's early, but all these games matter here in early January as you build that resume going toward March.